Hey everyone. Yeah, first of all, happy New Year to a lot of you guys out there. I didn't do a video on New Year's to do that, but I know it's New Year's weekend as I'm doing this, so happy New Year's to you guys. Hope you had a safe one, and especially those of you that went out and partied at the New Year's celebrations, and those of you that were at Times Square. Now, this is my second video on my YouTube channel for 2016. Now, you might ask, what do you mean by second? Well, what I mean by second initially is the first video I put up was a private one of me and my mom and my nephews um, celebrating New Year's. The reason I put it privately here on my YouTube channel, to which only I can see it, is because when I tried to put it on Facebook, unfortunately, it's a little too big file size wise. Excuse me. I must have caught something at work or something. I don't know. But like I said, it's a little too big file size wise. So, um, yeah, that's why I'm doing this, if you will. Um, well, basically, that's why this is my second video. But anyway, getting to the topic of this video, you see down there it says uh, Sonic, um, the Sonic comics in 2015. Looking back, um, you know, it's basically looking back. If it fits on looking back at the Sonic comics in 2015, and I can say a lot of things really came out of this year. Most notably, we got a lot of things revealed, if you will. For example, we find out that the Gaia temples are a key to restoring the world along with the seven Chaos Emeralds. But we also find out that the only way these Gaia temples um, can work and basically help save the world is they got to be opened with seven Gaia keys, which are held by Gaia Guardians. So basically, Sonic and company have to go around the world, excuse me, and collect these Gaia keys to open the Gaia temples. Now, what's interesting about this is some of the Gaia Guardians are characters we already know of. Excuse me. Again, are characters we already know of. Excuse me. Characters like Loop the Wolf, whose redesign was introduced to us at the San Diego Comic Con, and about 2 months later was officially debuted in the comic. Dulcie, who's coming out this month with her new redesign, is a Gaia Guardian as well as you had two characters from the Sonic Unleashed game, which were Gaia Guardians there, or Gaia Key Guardians there, I believe, and as they were the same here in the comic. Um, so basically, yeah, we found out a little bit more that it's going to take more than the seven Chaos Emeralds and just locating the Gaia temples and all that. We also found out that the freedom fighters got to find keys. Now, what's interesting on top of this as well is the fact that Amy is not in the book primarily right now because she is off on a quest with Knuckles to find the Master Chaos, the shards of the Master Emerald. Because for any of you that followed the Sonic Universe books in the last Knuckles story arc, basically to save the Emerald, he shattered it once again into so many pieces that he has to go and locate them. So Amy, being in tune with this mystic melody that she learned um, in a previous arc, I think Waves of Change, I believe, she goes with Knuckles to help find the shards of the Master Emerald. Now, with all that said, um, with all that said and going on, the one thing that a lot of people will remember 2015 about, as far as the Sonic comics go, if you will, the one thing fans will remember most about is Worlds Unite, which was the sequel to the 2013, I believe, 2013. I think it was 2013. I got to look again, but I think it was 2013 Worlds Collide um, crossover. The difference about this one, and the reason it was either praised or criticized, and I even did a review on it. You can check the text review out on it, and you can check the video review here on my channel about it. The reason this was kind of mixed, had a mixed reaction from fans, is because it was introducing a lot of these old school Capcom and Genesis characters, video game characters, into the story. Basically, the plot was we had a Mega Man X villain trying to recreate time and space in his image. And we're not just talking Mega Man's world or Sonic's world or X's world or anything like that. We're talking all reality. And unlike the first crossover, where it was just game characters primarily, you had everybody. You had game characters from Sonic and Mega Man, as well as you had the comic exclusive characters, or as we like to look at Sally and the others as the SatAM characters, also included. So that was pretty cool. And it did run, it was a 12-parter just like the last one. The only difference is, unlike the last one, which spanned 3 books, this spanned 4. The 4th book being Sonic Boom, which, after this crossover, had one last regular issue, and that was it. Yeah, Sonic Boom only lasted basically a year or so, a year run, if you will. Basically, from the end of 2014, or the mid to end of 2014, to basically the mid part of this year. It only ran for 11 issues. A lot of people pretty much think it was sales, but I think financially it was something on Sega and Archie's part. They couldn't afford to do it. So they're condensing the Sonic Boom stories into the Sonic Digest books, the Super Special Magazine books, let me check, let me see. The Digest books, the Super Sonic Magazine books, and I think there's something else here too. Oh yeah, and I think even the archives and the Sonic Select books are getting them as well. So yeah, but they'll be printed in those as well. But mostly, I have to say the Sonic Super Special magazines and the digest mostly will see print. They will see print in, as well as I think on occasion you'll get them in Sonic Select and maybe even the archive books. Um, anyway, with that said, um, like I say, anyway, with that said, that's basically was the end of Sonic Boom after mostly it was mostly used as a 4th part for the crossover, or an additional book to do the crossover. And I think the reason they did that is because they realized a lot of fans were too impatient with the last one. The last one taking a little long because it was 3 books. So they pretty much figured, let's put in Sonic Boom as an additional book. There you go. The other news as well, speaking of Worlds Unite, one news that I think a lot of fans got doing this was the fact that Mega Man was going on hiatus at the end of last year, and we're not totally sure of exactly when Mega Man is coming back. I think what Ian is doing is taking a break, because if you go to BumbleKing.com, you will notice that he's doing more than just the Sonic books. He's actually working on the Ninja Turtles adventure books for IDW. So when you're working on that and you're working on the Sonic books, you kind of see maybe why they had to discontinue Sonic Boom and why they put Mega Man on hiatus. With that said, though, Worlds Unite is definitely probably one of the stories of the Sonic comic books this past year that most fans are going to remember. They really are. So, but I think be you know, but I think without mentioning, not mentioning, but I think with the exception of Worlds Unite, I think honestly, probably the best story arc in my opinion was Spark of Life out of Sonic Universe. I know some people may think that's a little crazy for me to say, but because some people have a mixed reaction to that one, but uh, I thought Worlds Collide was, I mean, not Worlds Collide, but I thought Spark of Life was good. I thought it was a nice extension, a nice extension of Nicole's backstory and how she came to be. And long story short, this is spoilers in case you haven't read the book, haven't read the story yet. Um, Nicole basically was based off of Dr. LED, her creator, uh, late daughter. Basically, Dr. LED's daughter was dying, or was dead, or was on the verge of dying, and the only, well, I think had just died or something like that. And the only way he could preserve or try to preserve her brain waves, her memories, try to find a way to bring her back, in a sense, was to download the brain waves, the memories into a computer, into a hard drive that that didn't prove to be successful, and thus Nicole was created out of that, and not his daughter Nikki. But a lot of people pretty much feel that the villainess, the antagonist in Spark of Life, Phage, may be a corrupted Nikki, maybe like the remnants of Nikki memory and personality corrupted by Eggman or something like that. So we're still hopefully going to get something out of that, maybe a conclusion or something like that down the line. But yeah, Spark of Life I thought was one of the best character-driven stories that there is. And then, of course, you have the new backup stories that are happening after Worlds Unite. That was another news item that came out from Ian Flynn and Archie Comics, that after Worlds Unite, the main comic would be split into two 10-page stories. And both would basically be within the same continuity. Both would kind of like be, sometimes would be driven off of each other, like the more recent one at the end of the year. Let me see which one that was. It's right here. It's in this issue, which I have not gotten the other issue of yet. And this is a 278, I believe. Yes, I have not gotten 279 yet. So, but this one, which I think is called, what was it? Hidden Cost. That's what it's called, Hidden Cost. A lot of people have said it's probably the best character-driven story out there, since they started doing, or restarting doing, the backup stories for the comic. And like I said, Hidden Cost is like a connection to the previous stories that came out before this. It actually started in the previous issue from this. It started in 277 with a Loop's introduction, or re-debut as a Gaia Guardian, as a Gaia Key Guardian. So, like I said, it started with her reintroduction there. Um, so overall, though, it's a lot of people. I haven't gotten 279 yet, so I'm thinking hopefully it'll be here tomorrow. In today, it's about 5:30 in the morning. Hopefully, it'll be here today, maybe in the mail, because I know with the holidays things get delayed. I mean, we haven't seen it. I mean, Mega Beatman, who I watch his reviews on YouTube, hasn't even done his review yet of it because he hasn't gotten his copy. And again, I can think it's due to the fact that they kind of go on a bit of a hiatus, or things get a lot busier during the holidays or something. But anyway, like I said, Hidden Cost, is one of those stories that does drive off or continue off of the main book or the main story. It's like the main story will start something, and then the second story will be a continuation of it somehow, or it'll be in the same continuity and be referenced maybe in the main story later on, but will be a totally different story. Like we got some synopsis that have Bunny and Tails visiting a friend and visiting someone sick in a hospital, something like that. So basically they'll be either their own individual stories that will be referenced later on in the main story of the comic, or somewhat in Unleashed in one of the story arcs, but will also basically be, at times a continuing of the main story it started off in, like Hidden Cost was. So that's what also this year brought, was after World Unite we had the return, and that's what I'm saying, return of the backup stories. But this case, they kind of, like I said, split down the middle to where the main story is 10 pages, the backup story, the second story, is 10 pages, and they're both within the same continuity, same context, and they do kind of intertwine to kind of play off each other if they need to, and they probably will. Uh, so yeah, it's been a very, to me, it's been a very interesting year. I mean, yes, we did have a silver arc called the Silver Age, in Sonic Universe. Like I said, we had a Knuckles Shadow Rouge arc early on, before that, and I think maybe we had a Chaotix. I'm not really sure. Uh, or something. I gotta look again. I don't really read the universe books, but I'm probably gonna have to start doing that soon, because that way I can stay connected. But I've got so many comics, it's not funny. I mean, I got a bookshelf here I'm looking at right now that I'm gonna have to continue on later, because I got so many comics. I got so many issues. I'm gonna have to get another one of these things here, one of these five door tower tours, whatever they call them, to put some of my comics in, because I got so many. And that's a fact. But anyway, again, looking back on it, Spark of Life, I believe, is probably one of the best character-driven stories that they've done. Hidden Cost definitely stands out as being the second best one. And World Tonight, I think, is going to be probably the most talked about story arc that they did this past year, because of all the issues they used, all the characters they brought in, and it's people will still look back on it and with some fondness, and some will look back on it like, please don't let us go to in this route again. But it looks like at the end of it, they were hinting at maybe a third one, but we don't know when that will be. So yeah, it's been a very interesting year. I mean, really interesting. 12 months. Started with the Champions arc, which again was a return to a little bit of the slapstick of the comics, and as well as to adventures, because in Champions we were introduced or reintroduced to a soft, well, basically a redesigned, soft rebooted, whatever you call it, version of Breezy the Hedgehog from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. So we had that kind of connection there, and which is why, if anybody wants to know, why Champions was a little bit more slapstick than anything else, because one, it was introducing a character and bringing back characters from a slapstick cartoon, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, as well as it was based off a slapstick fighter game, Sonic the Fighters. Another thing about Sonic the Fighters as well is it introduced us finally officially to Honey the Cat. For anybody that doesn't know, Honey the Cat was a character created for Sonic the Fighters originally in the arcade version, but then was taken out after, I don't know if I mean, basically she was originally created for the game, but then she was taken out, and now if you got the game on your Xbox or your PS3 or something like that, All you have to do is, press certain buttons. And when you select Amy, it's like when you select Amy, you got to press start or something, I think, and you'll get Honey the cat in her place. So, yeah, but Honey was brought in. Basically, her role now is she's a good girl. She is a freedom fighter, I guess you could say, not officially, but she does believe in the right thing. But she is also a businesswoman. She is a world famous fashion designer in the comics. So that's a pretty good addition to her character, if you will. And she does have a partnership. She does start some kind of partnership with Breezy at the end of the arc, as a Champions arc. But it's a very weary partnership because she's not too sure if she's made the right decision because she pretty much calls Breezy out on everything that's happened. So, and as far as Breezy goes, we might get more about this version of Breezy later on down the line, especially her connection that she had with Neo Metal Sonic. So, excuse me. Like I say, with her connection with Neo Metal Sonic and stuff. So, overall, it wasn't too bad. We also got some good character development, bittersweet kind, if you will, with the dear sisters Cassidy and Clove. We found out more about the egg bosses as well. Some of them went with Eggman because they liked his style of ruthlessness, like Rhoda's father. He went with Eggman because he liked his style. He liked his ruthlessness. He liked that might makes right. Basically, he's old school, but he likes that might makes right kind of deal. And he was also the persuasion saying, hey, if you can't beat him, join him. And I get, basically, it wasn't just that mentality. It was also the mentality of, this is a guy I can get behind because he thinks like me. He's like, the weak have to go, the might will survive. So that was an interesting interesting background as to why Rhoda's father became an egg boss for Eggman. But we also found out that some of the egg bosses don't really want to be there. We found out that Clove and Cassidy basically are more like, hey, we're just doing it to protect our people. And then we find out with Nephthys, and again, this I don't even have the issue, but people have spoiled it already. That Nephthys, who is actually friends with the Freedom Fighter group that Sonic and Antoine and Big encounter in the Face of the Enemy story arc, which is the last story arc, one of the last story arcs, uh, the last main story arc of 2015. We find out that the Eggbots there, Nephthys, along with this freedom fighter group, this desert group of freedom fighters, are basically putting up a facade in front of Eggman, as well in front of Eggman. So basically, they're just doing what they're doing because they're actually friends. They're doing what they're doing to protect the people, get the people what they need. The people don't know that they're friends. They don't know that, hey, we're just putting this act together. We're just putting on an act to basically, protect the people, to throw Eggman off and stuff. So we do find out that some of the egg bosses are not really mean. They're not really bad guys or bad girls. They're more like we're just doing this to protect the people. And I think Nephthys said something in the issue where she was confronting Sonic, that something along the lines of, look at what's going on. You have no one but yourself to blame, along with Eggman, because you're constantly fighting and you're just not letting things be. So, or either she says that to Sonic, or I think she says that to Sonic. Again, I haven't gotten the issue yet, so I don't really know. I have to look again. Maybe I can get a digital version and then I can do a review. Um, but yeah, she mentions that to Sonic. She does. She mentions that to him, as well as the fact that, as well as you had a little bit of a moment with Bunny and Sally after Hidden Cost on the Sky Patrol. Basically, Bunny reveals to Sally while she was undercover, um, undercover in the during the Countdown to Chaos arc, where she was undercover at one of the egg bases. She found out that a lot. She found out basically what a lot found out that a lot of the egg bosses or egg army soldiers, don't really want to be there, but they're there because they don't want. They're sick and tired of the fighting. They'd rather join Eggman with the hopes that he'll just leave them and their people be, let them live, let them have their lives, instead of fighting against him. So it was really nice to see that kind of character development, and I liked it because of the fact that, as I mentioned in my review, it looks like Aaliyah Baker, who's Ian Flynn's wife, her style of writing is rubbing off on him because that was good character development for the egg bosses. So there was just some good character developing throughout the year, this past year with some of the stories and characters. So I really did like that. Overall, it was a okay year. It was a decent year for the Sonic comics in 2015, and all I can say here is hopefully 2016, this year now, will be better, and maybe we'll get more character development. Maybe we'll find out more about why certain good characters with good hearts are being egg bosses. Maybe we'll find out more. And it looks like 2016 may also be the year that the Clove sisters, Cassidy and Clove, finally shed the Eggman regime and go off and probably become freedom fighters. I'm not saying that's a done deal, but it's a possibility. Um, Overall, decent year, and hopefully 2016 will be even better. It looks like it's going to start out that way with some decent stories. Basically, storyline wise, the Freedom Fighters have all 7 emeralds. Now, let's see what happens in 2016. It looks like come March or something like that is when business starts to pick up, and we start getting to that conclusion of this whole Shadow World arc. And if it ends at the end of this year, because this is the 25th anniversary of Sonic, hey, that'd be great. And excuse me, that was my stomach. If it ends at the end of this year or during this year, that'd be great. If it holds off till 300 next year, we'll just have to wait even longer. Because if you think Ian Flynn and even Aaliyah Baker may, just say, okay, let's end it right now this year. It's the 25th anniversary. Let's do it. Of the franchise, let's do that. That's not going to happen because remember, keywords 25th anniversary. If you don't think Sega is going to have Archie do something for the 25th anniversary, you're dead wrong. So we'll just have to wait and see. If they don't, be great. If they do, hey, we only got until midway next year, 2017, for this to end. So let me know what you guys think down below. What did you think was the best story arcs of this year? What do you think was this past year? What do you think was the best character developing? And what do you think we're going to look forward to? What do you think we're going to expect in 2016 this year? Do you think the Shadow World arc will finally end? Or do you think it will continue on till midway 2017? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I am out.